2008, she was seen as the natural successor to Tony Jaa. Her movie Chocolate showed she had the agility, the kicks, and the perfect timing to be a massive global superstar. The next Michelle Yeoh or Cynthia Rothrock. But nearly 2 decades on, she is a hardly known name and has not been in any movie for nearly 7 years. So, what happened? How did the next big hope for action cinema become an almost unknown? JeeJa Yanin was born in 1984, Bangkok, Thailand. She was almost pushed into martial arts by her mother at the age of 11, who wanted her to have discipline and confidence. Her core discipline was Taekwondo, where she reached 3rd Dan black belt. She was a natural. She developed a unique style by blending ballet with Taekwondo, leading to a choreography awards at the 1999 Thailand Taekwondo Championship. And at 14, she was already a martial arts teacher, with very little aspirations of wanting to get into movies. By 2006, in her early 20s, she was basically a full-time Taekwondo instructor, quietly teaching classes in Bangkok. However, her life was about to change forever, because just 3 years earlier, this movie came out. One Bak was a surprise hit. It made its lead actor, Tony Jaa, a star worldwide, but also gave its director, Prasha Brinko, a massive platform to curate his own career. Most importantly, it did the same for his choreographer and legend in martial arts movies, Pana Rakitrai, who we've discussed before in this series. Check out the Tony Jaa video for more on him. They both stumbled upon JeeJa at the gym, where they were instantly blown away by her abilities. It was like they'd found a unicorn from nowhere, a female martial artist who could handle full contact, tight stunt choreography, and had sharper kicks than many of her male compatriots. They immediately saw potential and started to create a movie concept to showcase her skills. And like I've said before in this series, that was it. She was suddenly the lead in a massive movie. No auditioning, no small roles beforehand, straight to lead role in a movie. And that movie was 2008's Chocolate. Not to be confused with this boring art house Johnny Depp movie.
That's fantastic.
Boring. No, this one is far from boring. Now, it has to be said that the storyline is bordering on rather silly. You see, it's all about an autistic girl who copies fighting styles by watching them in person or in movies, which is a perfect excuse to showcase a buffet of martial arts. But it does lean heavily into the movie trope of an autistic character having special abilities, much like Rain Man did in the 1980s with Dustin Hoffman.
What?
I'm definitely not wearing my underwear.
What difference does it make where you buy underwear?
Winning an Oscar. However, at no point in the movie does the portrayal ever feel derogatory. And honestly, some of the sequences and stunts in this movie are just insane. It definitely rivals and even tops at times that of One Bak. It really showed that JeeJa was the real deal. If we're being honest, the whole storyline is rather weak. The movie is really just a lavish showreel for its lead actress and its director, and what a showreel it is. Chocolate wasn't a billion-dollar smash, but it was a bona fide hit. Critically praised, internationally embraced, and financially successful. It did exactly what it was designed to do, turn JeeJa Yanin into the next breakout star of Thai action cinema. And everyone was very excited for what she would do next. Would her and Tony Jaa team up for a movie? That would be just like the Justice League, coming together.
No.
Actually, on second thoughts, but you get my point. Next up, 1 year later, was a movie called Raging Phoenix, which kind of invented a new martial art. This dancey, kicking kind of thing. It's kind of like capoeira, but really it's not. The movie was another chance for her to showcase her talent, but wasn't as iconic as Chocolate. However, it cemented her talent and got everyone really excited for her future. And just then, as it seemed her next inevitable step towards Hollywood was coming, it actually didn't. Now, there were talks between 2010 and 2013 with Hollywood studios, many discussions, but much like as per my Tony Jaa video, Hollywood just didn't know how to handle Asian martial arts stars in this era. This was pre the Raid movies and post the Jet Li and Jackie Chan American Kung Fu movies revival. It was kind of a limbo space. And if we're being honest, Hollywood hasn't changed much since then either. That limbo still exists. So in between 2010 and 2013, she did another movie with Pracha and Pana called The Kick, a Korean martial arts movie. During this period, Tony Jaa, Thailand's biggest hope, was kind of absent. He had the flop of One Bak 2 and One Bak 3 to deal with, as well as his hiatus from the industry for personal reasons. But he did come back with a sequel to The Protector, called The Protector 2. Of course it was. And here, we finally get a team-up of Jaa and JeeJa, the Justice League.
So exciting.
Again, maybe not. Oh, gal, no. But the movie, much like this lady, was rather underwhelming, commercially and critically. The first Protector movie was famous for being raw and almost using zero CGI or wires. This movie was the exact opposite, and it was derided for doing so. Honestly, this was a huge down period for Tony Jaa, and unfortunately, JeeJa was caught in the crosshairs of his career spiral. This was made worse by the fact that Jaa just abandoned the Thai martial arts movie world to go off to do his first Hollywood movie. And this was after being released from his ironclad contract with the Thai studio Saya Mongkol Film International, where he couldn't leave the country, negotiate with other studios, nor do anything without their permission. Now, JeeJa was under contract with them too, but it was less stringent. She had some freedoms, but conversely, she had a lack of offers. However, now that Jaa was free enough to make Fast and Furious 7, he left the Thai martial arts movie world in the mud somewhat. But in 2014, two events happened that both changed martial arts movies forever and also changed JeeJa's world. Pana Ertikai passed away, which basically was the true end of Thai martial arts movies. And JeeJa got pregnant with her first child. And that was that. The industry was gone, and she took some time out. 2 years, in fact. Her comeback in 2016 saw her team up with Michael J. White and Tony Jaa for Never Back Down, No Surrender, in what was pretty much just a cameo. And then again with Scott Adkins in the sequel-type reboot thing to Hard Target 2. They're really imaginative with his names, aren't they? Again in what is pretty much just a cameo. And then a guest appearance in the Tony Leung starring Europe Raiders. You might remember Tony from this. Or if you're a cinephile, like me, maybe this. And then she starred in a movie we've mentioned a few times in this series, Triple Threat. A movie that could and should have been just so awesome. Adkins, Jay White, Iko, Jaa, Tiger Chen, and JeeJa. What a cast. But ultimately, the movie just kind of came and went. Triple Threat wasn't a box office success, but it became a cult favorite amongst action fans. Strong kicks, stacked cast, thin plot. The definition of a martial arts ensemble movie that punches above its budget, but never broke into mainstream. And it did exactly nothing for any of its stars. But perhaps it did even less than nothing for JeeJa. It didn't propel her back to success or rekindle the magic she had with Chocolate 10 years earlier. It was, if anything, a sharp reminder about what could have been, because she had so much potential. And that, to date, was her last movie. Since then, she had another child and seems very happy. She occasionally teaches taekwondo and stunt basics, mostly in Thailand, been involved in youth martial arts programs and small workshops. Nothing too commercial, but she stays connected to the craft. She's never made a public retirement statement. She just kind of eased out of the industry naturally. The fact is, while she had a lucky break being randomly found by Pana and Pracha in a gym, she's been equally, if not more, unlucky with the timing of some other events, like Tony Jaa's career going south, and Panna's untimely passing, and the buzz of Asian stars doing kung fu movies in the early 2000s not extending beyond that, as well as the small cruel to death that cinema is facing right now. But nobody can take away from her the incredible performance she gave in Chocolate, which will live on in cult cinema history as one of the best martial arts performances of all time. A career comeback, honestly, for a while seemed highly unlikely. But this year, there was a major surprise as she appeared alongside Joe Taslim in the Hong Kong movie The Furious, which has been at the Toronto International Film Festival and the Busan International Film Festival. And we can only hope that's the start of something bigger. But if it's not, some stars burn bright for decades. Some burn bright for just a moment. And JeeJa will never be forgotten. Right, time for the ratings. For skills, her technique is simply incredible. She knows taekwondo, muay thai, stunt falls, and tricking to the point where she teaches it. If you watch her at her peak, she was simply mind-blowing. It's a definite 10 here. With movies, I have to be honest, she might have the weakest movies in the series so far. Now, Chocolate is a great showcase for her talent as well as Panna's and the directors, but as I mentioned, as a story, it's non-existent, and her other movies are not great. Maybe The Furious will be great, it's getting good buzz, but I'm gonna give her a 4 here. For screen presence, I do think Chocolate showed what amazing screen presence she has and could have had. Even in her second movie, Raging Phoenix, she holds the screen really well. But we've seen very little repeat of those days for nearly 2 decades. I'm gonna give her a 5 here. Versatility is a criteria I thought she was struggling. However, whether it's me being kind or whether it's me being more objective is up for debate, but I actually think she has shown versatility. In Chocolate, she's actually very impressive as an autistic young girl, despite her being in her mid-20s. And then, in other movies, she's shown that she can portray other types of characters. Now, she's no Meryl Streep or Michelle Yeoh, but not many are. I'm gonna give her a 7 here, and I might be being too kind, so let me know in the comments. And legacy, well, Chocolate will cement her legacy forever. As per my Bruce Lee video, you don't have to have done many movies to be a legend. I do think, as far as female martial arts artists go, I don't think I've ever seen a better martial arts performance than in Chocolate. The stunts she does are unlike anything I've seen before, and the fighting is glorious. The movie is one that people mention randomly every now and again, and I'm gonna give her an 8 here. And that's a final score of 34, which does seem fair based on how short her career has been thus far. Again, that may change after The Furious, but for now, 34. Now, these names on screen help the channel to grow. If you want to join my Patreon and become a channel member, the link is in the description. You get your name in the credits of all the videos, and Patreon members get these videos early. As well as that, you get a say on which action star I do next. If you could hit the like button and subscribe on this video, I'd be most grateful. Now, I have to say, this video was very hard to research. There isn't much about her, especially since 2019. She's done a few interviews here and there, and she's kind of still active on socials to a degree, especially on Facebook, to be fair, but it was a struggle. It's a real shame when people don't quite hit their potential. And another star who didn't quite hit their potential, but like JeeJa might be making a comeback, is Uwais, star of the Raid movies. And you can watch how I ranked him by clicking the video to your left. Peace out and big love.
All right.
Boy.